All right, time for a Buckeye Breakdown with the great Bobby Carpenter. You hear him daily. Morning Juice, 97.1 The Fan, YouTube, and 10 TV Plus. And all right, here we go. And then there were 2 games left in the regular season. Rutgers, Ohio State is 31.5-point favorites over the Scarlet Knights, coached by Greg Schiano, who was defensive coordinator here at Ohio State. As you look at this Rutgers football team, 5-5 on the year. This would make their year to come in here and beat Ohio State. We say that every week. But Greg Schiano, this is a top-notch coach, and you just never know what you're going to get with him, do you?
Well, I think you know a little bit what you're going to see, Dom, as far as the type of team they're going to be. Greg Schiano, tough, hard-nosed guy. He's got that stiff, tough New Jersey jaw, and that's the type of team he's tried to build. They play tough defense. They like to run the football. They'll throw some play action, quick game, and then they take a lot of deep shots down the field, and that's why they've been able to have some success this year, sitting there at 5-5. They just put a beating on Maryland last week, and they're going to be ready to go. And one of the other elements that you'll get with him, and this is when you say you don't know what to expect, there'll be some trick plays, and in the past, there's always been a couple of wrinkles on special teams, and whether that's going to try to get a block on a kick, whether that's a fake punt, a fake field goal, he's going to have some things there to try to test you. He's familiar with the program. He knows Ryan Day. I think there's a mutual respect there, but make no mistake about it, Don. They're coming here to try to win.
Yeah, they're coming here, and he's excited about it. His offense is led by a guy who transferred in from Minnesota, but this guy is outstanding right now. He's thrown for over 2,700 yards, talking about Athan Kaliakmanis. He's going to come in. He's going to try to stretch the field. He's going to go up against Ohio State's secondary. He has been sacked like 29 times, so he has gotten to. What are the keys for the defense going up against what looks to be, he's a prototype NFL-type quarterback?
Oh, he's a big guy, strong arm. Started his career, Dom, at Minnesota, so he's familiar with the Big Ten. They understand what he's going to be, and they love that arm. He does a good job throwing those in cuts. Off the play action, they'll throw some slants, glances, some deep posts down the field. But what they really like to do, because they run the ball so well, that's the Greg Schiano mentality. We're going to pound it, pound it, pound it. Last week, over 250 yards, I think over 300 yards on the ground. And Kaliakmanis was a big part of that running game as well. But they're going to sit there and try to pound the football on you, get you to draw up, lull you to sleep, and then run some max protection where they keep a lot of guys in and take some shots down the field. If they can catch it, that's great. If not, he'll throw it into coverage and hopes that he can get some sort of pass interference or a holding call down the field as well. And that is how they get those chunk plays, how they're trying to score and to keep you from overextending yourself in the run game.
You know, and Greg Schiano, big-time respect for Ohio State's defensive coordinator, Matt Patricia. And you and I both been so impressed with what Coach Patricia and Timmy Walton and all those defensive coaches have been able to do. And Schiano singled them out, saying they are playing elite. With that said, we have seen this quarterback, Kaliakmanis, sacked 29 times. Are the Buckeyes, are the Silver Bullets pinning their ears back? Do you think they're going after him?
I think they will, especially when they try to take some of those deep shots, Dom, and making sure they take a little bit of heat off of their corners. You know, David Sigmanuson has been really good this year. In the past, he's had some injuries or some issues with penalties. This season, he's been pretty clean, but make no mistake about it, they're going to look back and they're going to challenge them on the outside and force them to play clean, try to pick up some of those pass interferences. And defensively, what you can see from Ohio State is they'll get in some 5-down stuff. They're going to try to stop the run and make sure that that's good, taken care of. But when they get in those play action passes, I think they'll probably play some man and get some extra rushers to the quarterback to make sure that Kaliakmanis doesn't have all the time in the world to be able to sit back there, stroke the football, and allow his guys to get 40 yards down the field before he releases.
All right, last thing on the defense, and you played the position linebacker. How impressed are you with Sonny Styles and Arvell Reese? And I don't know, is there a better tag team of linebackers in the country than these two guys?
Yeah, those guys have been really good. And I think everybody expected Sonny Styles to be incredibly good when he started this year. He started last year, the year before at nickel. He's a guy that is very athletic. Now he's got the size and the speed, and he understands the game. And he's the guy that gets everybody lined up, him and Caleb Downs, and that communication. And then the development and growth of Arvell Reese, what they're able to do with him, walk him up on the line of scrimmage, play him off. He's good in coverage. He's good against the run, rushing the passer. There's really nothing he can't do. He's a five-tool guy up there, and the combination of those guys has been deadly. And then you even put that in conjunction with Peyton Pierce, who's the third guy they've worked in a lot, and they've had to go some three linebacker sets. And Ryan Day always talks about matching personnel. And this is a game where Rutgers, you could see them potentially getting in some two tight end sets. And with that, maybe you get a little bit bigger on defense. You work Peyton Pierce in there as well, and to help stop that run game.
All right, let's go to the other side of the ball. Greg Schiano, you know him as well as anyone. Yeah. You expecting any wrinkles from his defense? He prides himself on defense. I can imagine him and Ryan Day right now playing chess, guessing what each other's going to do.
What's going to be interesting, what you see from Ohio State, and I think what Greg Schiano is going to do will be dependent upon maybe who's out there at receiver. And so obviously Carnell Tate, a little bit nicked up, hasn't played the last few weeks. We saw J.J. Smith not play really in the second half. And so if they have those young receivers out there, the Mylan Grahams, the Porters, we've seen some of Bryson Rogers, those guys, Brandon Ennis, I think they'll be a little more aggressive on the outside, play some single high safety stuff back, make sure they stop that Ohio State rush attack. They'll probably send some blitzers, and then they're going to make them move the ball down the field. They're not going to give you anything deep, and he's going to make you work for it. Rutgers doesn't want a high-scoring game. They want to slow the tempo, slow the pace of play. So I don't know if you'll see any of those big shots this week.
All right, let's see it. You know, Ryan's playing it close to the vest, not saying. He said we'll put an injury report out the morning of the game, and I think that's when we're going to wait. My take is save him. You know, we need him for that team up north. If Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate, if they can win the game without him, then save them, let them get healed up. What do you think? Do you think they play this week?
Well, it's the old rest versus rust phenomenon. This offense has been really humming. They've been looking good. But I think in this case, you look at this, it's not just the Michigan game next week. It's a potential Big Ten championship after that. And then you start looking at the results. Your 3 or 4 playoff games in this epic run. And the reason Ohio State was so good last year was that they were healthy. Everybody was ready to go. Yeah, they had some injuries earlier on, but all the bodies that were available were feeling good, and that was due to the way Ryan handled the season. They've handled it the same way this year. You've got a little bit nicked up late, so I think Carnell Tate, let him rest another week. Jeremiah Smith, let him rest another week. You've got this stable of wide receivers that we always talk about, the depth in the room. Now we're going to get a chance to see all of these young guys that Brian Hartline and Devin Jordan have been developing, and for once, you can make the argument that Julian's saying, hey, he's still really good, even though he may not have the best receivers in the country out there.
Let me ask you, too, about the running game. It has been a work in progress, but I'm going to tell you what, we talk stables, that's stable. And how about James Peoples? Yeah. 2 touchdowns last week. Competition brings the best out. But it seems to me the running game is getting at its best at the right time of the year.
Well, that James Peoples and his emergence here later in the season has been absolutely tremendous. And I think it's really a testament to Ryan Day and Carlos Loughlin, what they've been able to do with him. I think coming in, people expected him to be the lead back this year. Bo Jackson's kind of taken that. They've been moving Isaiah West in a little bit. And last week with C.J. Donaldson down, then you got to see a little more James Peoples. And everybody loved the hurdle. You loved the highlight reels, but he's playing really good football, and it's a credit to them to keep him engaged. He's bought into this team philosophy, and he understood you're going to get another chance. You're going to be able to go out there and be a big part of this offense. We saw that on Saturday night, and honestly, I think there's going to be a heavy dose of run game this Saturday at noon in the shoe, and I think they're preparing up for that for this long playoff run.
Yeah, I want to ask you about that. Coach Coop always said, win the surest way. You want to get this game over with. You got to win. The schedule's the schedule. And they're a dangerous football team just because, my opinion, Greg Schiano. But do you go in there and do you pound it? And do you just try to make it a 2.5-hour game and get it over with?
I think you run the football, like you said. Make sure you get this running game going. Make sure it's greased up heading into Michigan. Make sure that Julian Sayin looks good. He feels good with everything that he's got going on. Last week, Dom, he only completed like 74, 75%. So it's a little bit down from him. So make sure that he feels good. These young receivers look good. The defense is aggressive and attacking. But yes, I want to make sure that everything looks good. But the most important thing for this game was that you walk off with a W and everybody's walking off the field. They're healthy. They'll be ready to go for what is the biggest week of the season thus far.
Last thing, who wins and why?
I'm going to take Ohio State winning over Rutgers this week. You got a 30-point favorite again, Dom. I think the last 3 games, the combined spread's been about 100 points. And you know what? They've acted accordingly each and every time. And even last week when it was a little bit disjointed at times in the second half, they still looked really good out there. It was still 48-10 and got the job done.
He's the great Bobby Carpenter. Check him out daily. Morning Juice. Keep it on 10 TV, 10 TV Plus, and 97.1 The Fan.